In this video, I interview lifestyle YouTuber Sierra Schultzie about how to be confident in the things that make you unique, her tips on gear and video editing, and how to go full time with a small audience. Coming up. Hey, what's up guys? Sean here with Video Influencers. Help you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. And today, I'm sitting here with Sierra Schultzie. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Pumped to have you on Video Influencers.
Yeah, glad to have you here too.
Absolutely. Now, Sierra is a lifestyle YouTuber, does DIY, hacks, fashion, but really has also branded herself as the curvy guru, right?
Yep, that's me, that's my channel. I make videos about lifestyle, fashion, and body positivity to try to empower women of all sizes.
I love that so much, and that was one of the things that stood out to us as we found you, and we're like, wow, this is cool because you have a unique positioning and your content's amazing, and you got this great branding, these great videos. But let's take it back. I mean, how did you even get into video in the first place? What's kind of been your progression to where you are today?
Yeah, so I grew up as a theater kid. I've been doing theater my whole life, and I was in this weird position where I wasn't booking any jobs because I was too old to be the angsty teenager anymore, and I was too young to be the female lead. So I'm not booking any jobs. I'm super frustrated. I don't have a creative outlet. And my boyfriend at the time, who's now my fiance, is like, hey, you like YouTube, you watch Jenna Marbles, you should be Jenna Marbles, go do YouTube. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm not gonna talk to a camera. I'm not gonna do that, that's not me. And then one day, a few weeks later, I was bored. I had a DSLR from my photography class, posted a video that Friday, and I have uploaded every single Friday since.
Wow, awesome job on the consistency.
Thank you.
That's one of the huge things, right? Consistency.
Yeah.
So when was that first video?
So that first video was around April 20th, 21st, something like that. And then at my 1 year mark, I started a second video every week. So now I'm doing Tuesdays and Fridays.
That is amazing. And now over 180,000 subscribers, you know, so much cool stuff going on. But what would you attribute some of the growth to? And what were the phases? Maybe slow growth at the beginning and some things happened. What were the stepping stones on your way to growth?
Right, so I'd say the first part was just figuring out how YouTube works, right? Because when you're starting, you don't even know what tags are, what the description is, what you should be making videos about, how to edit thumbnails. So for me, that first section was just, what am I doing? What is this? And figuring out that it's something I'm really passionate about. And then I kind of got into the stage where I was like, I love this and I want to do this and I want to get really, really great at this. And that's when I got chosen for YouTube NextUp, which gave me a lot of tools and some extra equipment and stuff to kind of bring my content to the next level.
So let me stop you there. Just in case anyone hasn't heard of it, what is YouTube NextUp and why do you think you got chosen? I mean, obviously, is there anything you kind of did to really stand out?
Right, so YouTube NextUp is a program through YouTube where they choose, I think it's 10 to 15 channels that are between 10,000 and 100,000 subscribers, and channels that they think really have potential to blow up and get bigger but just need that extra push. So I actually saw it on my YouTube dashboard, and if any of you guys are in that range, it should pop up when they're searching for people. And I applied literally the day before it ended.
Wow. Just
on a whim. And I answered some questions and I linked to some videos. And I think what did set me apart is I linked to those curvy girl videos, which I had done a few of before then. And I think it showed that I was different and that I had something that people wanted that no one else was doing. And so once I got into YouTube NextUp, it really helped bring my channel to the next level. That
is amazing. And so from there, what happened? Did you have any breakthrough videos or?
Right, so right after that, I had all these tools now, right? So I'm just figuring out, okay, what am I gonna do to set my channel apart and to really try to make this my thing and go full time? And I decided to kind of make a few more of those curvy videos. And I made one, it's called Curvy Body Do's and Don'ts. I filmed it at the YouTube space. I kind of put a lot into it, a lot of time and a lot of finances. I hired a camera guy, which I had never done before. And lucky for me, that video totally picked up. It's almost at 2 million views now.
Wow.
And that really got me that core audience of people who wanted that curvy girl content and had also subscribed when they found that video that went viral. That's the content they were subscribing for. So after that happened, I decided to start focusing more on that, making more of those curvy girl videos because that's what my viewership really wanted and that's what I was really passionate about making.
That is amazing. One of the things we talk about all the time is that you need a niche or a niche.
Absolutely.
And so obviously you get that. What is some of your advice around that? I mean, in your space, did you notice that people were kind of doing the same thing? And maybe you kind of explained it, but what advice would you give to people for how to stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's really important, especially when you're smaller and you're just starting out, to not hyper-focus right away. Try different things, figure out what's gonna work for your channel and what you're passionate about. Because the thing is, if you focus right away and that does take off, you might not be passionate about that down the line. And you don't wanna build this base of subscribers off something that you're not passionate about.
Smart.
So it's really important to say, okay, I'm gonna experiment a little bit, see what picks up, and when you do decide to hyper-focus on that and make that your niche, make sure that it's something that you love. Because you're gonna develop this audience for that content.
Yeah.
And you know, if I all of a sudden decided I was gonna start making sports commentary, my viewers, that 180,000 wouldn't mean anything. Because that's not what they're there for.
True.
So I think it's really important to focus eventually, but take your time getting there.
Oh, so brilliant. I love that. I love that. Now, you're full-time with YouTube. When did that happen? And if people are kind of curious, like, hey, I'm growing, what could I expect as a timeline-wise? You know, just kind of your general progression. And kind of how did you do it? Like maybe just percentages to where it started to be able to be enough income to live on. And what kind of advice as far as timeline would you give?
Right. So I think it's really important to not jump to going full-time and quit your job from one video or one moment that puts you over that edge, because that doesn't mean it's going to be sustainable. So if you do get really lucky and you have that big break, maybe take some time, you know, put that in your savings account and explore other forms of income on YouTube other than just AdSense, because we were talking about earlier, affiliate links are great. There's also brand deals. You can expand to other social media. I do a lot of brand deals on Instagram and Twitter, and all that combined, I think is a great way to make it full-time, because to go full-time truly just from YouTube is difficult. And especially if you're a mid-sized channel, it can be really hard to get to that point where you can just do that. So if you have the capability to go to those other outlets to get revenue from social media, I think it's really important to explore those. And for me also, it just kind of like happened. I had a video do really well, and then I decided, you know, I think I could quit my job, and I got really lucky in that I was able to kind of sustain that growth.
And what number was that? I mean, and obviously it varies,
right.
But...
So I went from 20,000 subscribers to 100,000 in about 4 days because I had that video that took off.
Wow.
So it was right before that. So it was around 20,000, but I did get really lucky in that it took off right after.
Got it. So you were able to kind of like really make it a main thing at about 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Which is encouraging. You know, for me on my tech channel, it was right around under 30,000 subscribers. Same thing, especially through affiliate marketing and some of the other, you know, brand deals and all those types of things. And so that is great, great advice. Now, one of the things that is amazing about your content, you've got this, you know, channel cover that has a real strong brand to it, great thumbnails, you know, your video editing.
Thank you.
But sometimes people are like, geez, there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And you know there is.
Absolutely.
There's like a million things to learn. You're a 100-person film crew as a YouTuber by yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
You're every department. You wear a lot of different hats. So how did you learn some of those things as far as like design, you know, editing, shooting, and what would you encourage people as far as building their skills?
Right. So I think obviously YouTube and social media in general, and even video, is a new market. And there isn't necessarily a go-to guide that you can pick up that's going to teach you everything. And it's something that you kind of have to learn hands-on. So if you're just starting out or you've been doing it for a little while, it's okay not to be perfect at everything. Yeah. You are going to learn as you go. And it's also important to utilize the resources that you do have. YouTube itself is a great place to learn all about video editing and branding and thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't know how to do something, Google it, YouTube it, because somebody out there does know, and more than likely they're gonna share that information with you. And that's actually how I found your channel. Is we were starting a vlog channel, and my fiance was really nervous about vlogging. And so I searched vlogging tips, and there you guys were. And so there's so many resources out there. So don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it and reach out to those people.
I love that. I love that. And also your videos have a cool look. People are always curious, what kind of camera do you use? What do you edit on? Stuff like that. Yeah,
so I have two cameras. I use the Canon 70D with a Sigma lens, and that's what gives you that really blurry background because it has a high f-stop, or is it low f-stop?
Yeah,
one of those.
It's like it's a fast lens.
Yes.
So it's like a 31.4.
Exactly.
So yeah, and we'll actually put a list of your gear in the description so you can check it out. But you got the 70D, that 30, and that's popular in the lifestyle space because you can also go do photo shoots or B-roll with it and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And then what do you edit on?
So I have that camera, and then I also have a second camera that I do, so I can have 2 angles, which is great. So if you do lose footage, you have it, and then you can do the 2 angles. My second camera is the Canon SL1, and then I have a few different Canon lenses I use. And I edit on Final Cut Pro X, and a lot of those cool transitions and text titles that a lot of lifestyle vloggers use is from different websites. You can't get everything just from Final Cut Pro itself. So I get a lot of those from a website called Pixel Film Studios. And there are also even people who just make them themselves and will post them on YouTube. You can use them as long as you credit them in the description.
Wow, that's a great tip. So that's some of like the cool triangles, transitions. Yeah, I love that.
And it took me a long time to figure out where those were from the other lifestyle vloggers, because no one was talking about it and saying where they got them. But everyone had the same ones, and I bought Final Cut Pro, and none of those things were there, and I was so frustrated. So eventually I tracked them down.
Man, that is an awesome, awesome power tip right there. Love that. So again, we'll link up those websites, and even any extras that you have, we'll put those in the description. Now, one of the things you mentioned as far as building your income was brand deals. And what are some of the things, like when did those start from you? How did you start for you? When did you begin to progress into those? And what are some of your tips?
Yeah, so I did my first brand deal pretty early on when I had about 5,000 subscribers. And for me, one of the biggest things was, even if I have 5,000 subscribers or 5 million subscribers, doing brand deals that you're proud of. Not just working with a brand because, you know, they're offering you compensation, but working with a brand that you really love. And that way it is very true, all the things that you're saying. It's very sincere. And also your audience gets excited about the product too. Because if it is a good product, your audience wants to know about it anyways, even if it wasn't sponsored. You know, I always get people ask me, where'd you get those jeans or that curling iron? And so if you can kind of counterbalance those of things that people want to hear about, and also companies that are willing to sponsor you, and find that great middle ground, that's what's going to be a really positive experience for both you and for your subscribers.
That's amazing. And one of the things I also noticed was in your About page, you actually have a link to a form. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of smart. You, instead of just a business inquiries email, I didn't actually look at it. What made you think about that? Brands can just click on it. They could fill out some information. Does that help you filter through inquiries?
Yeah, so I used to have a business email, and I'm sure you're familiar with this too. You get so many scam emails.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to set up an email through my network and through my management. And so I asked her, and my manager sent me a form instead and said, here, have people use this. That way you get all the information you need. I have, you know, if you're interested in a sponsorship and what's the budget, what's your email, and then I have all that information in one place, and it's easy to share with other people in my network, like the finances team or my management or anyone else who needs to see that information, and also helps me filter through the scams and the spam a lot easier.
That is so smart. So if you go to Sierra's channel, to the About page, you can see all the fields on there. I'm actually going to take that idea.
Yeah, I also have it in the description of every video, so.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love that. Now, one of the other things, of course, that, especially on video influencers watching, people on YouTube in general know that a great way to grow your channel is collabs.
Yes.
I've seen you've done a few collabs, but it can be discouraging for people because sometimes they're like, well, where do I find people? What do I do if we have different sized channels? What's some of your advice when it comes to collabs?
I would say don't be afraid to reach out to someone, because the worst that's going to happen is they say no or they don't respond, and that's fine as long as you do it in a respectful way and say, you know, hey, I'm a big fan of your channel, or I've seen your videos and I'd love to collab. But don't take it personally if someone who's bigger than you doesn't want to collab. Because sometimes it is a true friendship and you become friends and then you decide to make a video together, but sometimes it is kind of a symbiotic relationship. It's going to help your channel, it's going to help their channel, and not everyone is always going to be down to collab with you. So be confident in reaching out to people, but don't take it personally if they aren't interested.
I love it. I love it. Great advice. Well, are you ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready for the lightning round. Let's do it.
Can you act out what lightning looks like with sound effects, please?
Oh, with sound effects. Okay. Let me get into my character. All right.
It's really good. That's a lot of passion.
That's a Tony Award right there.
That is a Tony
just give it to me.
Award. Lightning round, lightning round, lightning round. 3, 2, 1. Favorite TV show?
Friends.
First celebrity crush?
Zac Efron. Or Joe Jonas.
Samantha, you must be mad.
Cat or dog?
Dogs. Chihuahuas, to be specific.
Chihuahuas. Here's your dogs. And if you didn't know, we have Chihuahuas too. Favorite social network right now?
YouTube.
Favorite social network right now besides YouTube?
Instagram.
Boom. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
One book every influencer watching should read or listen to on Audible.
Harry Potter. Not super helpful, but it's my favorite.
Favorite documentary or movie?
I am partial to the High School Musical films. And please no one judge me for that because everyone's a secret fangirl of High School Musical.
Everyone is. Everybody. What is your hidden talent?
I can do a really good Stitch voice from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay. Can you demonstrate?
Sure.
A really good. That is amazing. Biggest pet peeve?
Oh, mumbling. It's a theater thing. I have to have good diction.
Good diction. What are your must-do morning rituals?
I have to walk the dogs, always. I drink a smoothie. I make a green smoothie. And then I have to go to the gym because if I don't do it in the morning, it's never gonna happen.
If you could give a TED Talk, what topic would it be on?
I would love to do a TED Talk on, actually on the way that mental illness is portrayed in the media. I know it's super not connected to my channel at all, but I think it's really problematic in a lot of different ways. So I think that would be really interesting.
How has failure or setbacks in your life set you up for future success? Or what is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure would have to be getting turned down for roles because I was either too thin or too fat, because that is kind of what has made my channel great, is that I'm not really big and I'm not really small and people relate to that. And so I would have to say, even though it hurts so bad in the moment to get told, you know, you're not big enough or you're not small enough, now I'm so grateful I did because it made me really appreciative of my body and of the way I look and gave me a lot of confidence in a really weird way.
So right now, you're 21.
I just turned 21.
What advice would you give to your 14-year-old self?
Don't waste time or waste opportunities because you are not confident enough or you're too self-conscious, because you'll never know what you missed out on if you never try.
Do you have a quote that you live your life by or that you often think of?
Oh, that I often think of. Do one thing that scares you every day.
Love it. Your favorite place in the whole wide world and why?
Favorite place. This is gonna make me sound very white girl, middle class, but my favorite place in the world is when I was in 8th grade, I went on a trip with my dad to Sardinia, and it's this beautiful island. And that is my favorite place because no one spoke my language, so I didn't have to worry about anyone who I knew seeing me, and I could just relax and be and exist and just kind of be in my own little bubble. So that's my favorite place.
Love it. Lightning round done. It's kind of just summing it up, a few more questions. Up and coming creators, like they're so passionate. You know how passionate you are and were. I know how passionate I was, and it can be discouraging, it could be hard. If someone's just trying to really do it, what are some of the steps, advice that you would give them for growing their channel, growing their influence, and some of the mindsets and things that they should really be focusing on? Maybe tactics, but also just some encouragement.
Yeah, I would say make a plan. Make a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 1-year plan of where you want to be. And don't limit yourself on, oh, I don't think I could do that, or how do I know that's even going to happen? Because if you don't set those goals, you're not going to reach them because you don't know. You have to set those goals and then figure out how you're going to get there. Set a goal, find your path, and follow it, and you'll get there eventually.
That is amazing advice. Now, what upcoming projects do you have? And of course, we want to link up to all your stuff in the description.
Thank you.
Where is your, what are you doing on social? Where should people connect with you?
Yeah, so I primarily am on YouTube, obviously, and I make new videos every Tuesday and Friday. So if you want to check those out, it would mean a lot to me. I also am on Instagram, and I do Instagram lives almost every day just because it's really fun to sit down and casually hang out with your viewers and talk with them and chat. So Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I will tweet everyone and anyone. And that's pretty much what I'm up to.
I love that. We're actually going to go right back into that Instagram live thing there. That's a really cool tip. It's a smart way to use a new platform. Now, Instagram lives disappear. What have you learned in doing those Instagram lives?
Yeah, so the first time I was really nervous, the first time I was going to do it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. What if I say something stupid, or what if I don't know what to say, or what if it's awkward? And I was so nervous, and after the first time I was like, that was just like sitting down and having coffee with a friend and talking. So don't overthink it, and you don't have to schedule them. You don't have to tweet out and say, you know, hey, I'm going on tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Because I've noticed that whether I tweet it out or whether I just do it, I have almost the same viewership on Instagram Live. Because the people that are gonna watch it, they're gonna watch it anyways. So don't try to make it, you know, as professional as your normal content. You can just hang out and make it casual.
Well, awesome. Well, I want you to sum it up and do like a final word of encouragement, but I just kind of want to just acknowledge you just for everything you're doing on YouTube, everything you're doing to inspire people, to help your audience. Thank you for hanging out with the video influencers.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And being so excellent in just everything you do.
Thank you.
Love your channel, love your content, and just love your attitude. And it's pretty amazing. You're putting a lot of good into the world.
Thank you so much.
So can you just do like one final word of encouragement to the influencers watching to just go out there, pursue their dreams, to build their influence, and to make a greater impact?
Yeah, don't let the fear of not succeeding keep you from doing it, because you'll get there. And no matter how small you are when you start, if you keep working at something relentlessly, you're gonna get there. So just hyper focus on what you want to do, set your goals, and work hard at it, and you'll get there.
This is so powerful. Bomb audio because the camera is far away with a 24mm lens.